And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with the Game Boy Geek.
Hello, my friends. It's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to be controlling robots. We're going to be moving them around, shooting other people in an arena, a battle arena with some volts. We're talking about Volt Battle Arena from NASA Games. It's 2 to 4 players. Plays in about 30 to 45 minutes. Ages 13 and up. It's a tactical sort of programming type of game. It's pretty interesting. Let's check it out. I'll show you how it's played, and I'll see you on the other side.
At the beginning of the game, everybody gets to pick their really cool robot shield of the color of their choice: red, blue, green, or white. Cool artwork, cool player shields. You also get to pick from one of 4 board layouts. Here's 2 separate boards, and then it's their other 2 sides, so a total of 4 different boards that you can pick to use to set up. Everyone's going to get a control board, which has control and shooting controls. Put it behind their player shield. By the way, that was the shield that you saw before. The back side actually has a cool thing. It shows you the order in which things happen in the game. It shows you some other things that you will be referencing when people get hit, and shows you the order that the dice are resolved: red, white, and blue. So once you put that there, you're going to grab a red, white, and blue die. You're going to grab the guy of your color. You're going to place them on the board, and then we'll get started. So people put their robot on any edge spot on the board, and then we roll the die, and it says 1. So I'll just leave the die right on the 1 here. What this means is at the end of the round, any robot that is on top of that 1 will get a point. The first one to 5 points wins the game. So you'll see points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They'll change during the rounds. And we have some pits that you might fall into or push people into. And we have some points and some damage. And everybody's going to have their die. Let's talk about how a turn works. On your turn, everybody is going to roll the 3 dice behind their shield. Everything is going to get resolved in the order of red, white, and blue. So the red die, then the white die, and then the blue die. This is the order that they're going to get resolved. And those are the numbers that I am stuck with. So given this, and given where I am and what my objectives are at this point in the time, we can figure out whether to put them on the move or the shooting. Now you can never put more than 2 on the move each round. So let's take a look at this die, and let's take a look at the board and see what I might do. So here's the dice I roll. It's going to go red, white, and blue. Also, for each color die, they're going to get resolved from the lowest number to the highest number. So I have kind of a low number. Maybe what I want to do is I'll want to move 1, 2, 3, and then maybe fire this way, then maybe fire this way, thinking people are going to be in this general area. So essentially I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So red, I'm going to move up 3. White, I'm going to shoot 4 spaces that way. 6, I'm going to shoot 6 spaces that way. And let's see what happened. Okay, so everybody would take their shields off. We would see who did what. Now, so we're looking at this, and we go red, white, and blue, smallest to largest. So the red, he has the smallest, so that's me. So I'm going to move 3 forward. There we go. And then his dice comes off to show that it's done. The next one is 5. And so he's going to shoot this way. 1, 2, boom, hits him. So what happens here? Well, since he hits him, first of all, this guy gets 1 damage. If you get 3 damage, you pretty much die. And we'll tell you what happens when you're dying later. You do end up respawning pretty quickly. Now, a 5, if you hit with a 5, let's look at what happens when you do damage to somebody. Now on the back of your shield, it shows you if you get hit with a die that's 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, certain things happen to you. For example, for the 5, which this is, all dice are going to move 90 degrees counterclockwise. Now at the beginning, the first time you're playing this, you might actually need to refer to the rules, which basically has this for 5, rotate all dice by 90. Of course, 4 is rotate all dice by 90 clockwise. 3 is rotate dice on only the weapons control by 45 counterclockwise. 2 is weapons control 45 clockwise, and 6 is it pushes 1 space, so it actually moves the robot. So here's sort of shorthand of what that is. You learn it pretty quickly as what the symbols mean and such. So we would do this on his board. So this player is going to go 90 degrees counterclockwise, all of his dice. So everything is kind of screwed up for this guy this round probably. And this guy activated. Now we have 2 reds that tie with 6. If they're tied, if either one of those is on the movement, they would go first. In this case, neither of them are. So you would add up all the dice. So this one has a total of 17, And this one has 6, 7, 9, 10, 12. So this one's lower, so this one would go first. If they were still tied after that, you would randomly take 2 of these sequence tiles, and each one would randomly take one, and whoever has the lowest number, 1 through 4, would get it. So that's how tiebreakers go. It's pretty interesting how that's done. So this person's would go first, and he's going to shoot 6 that way. Oh, he missed. He probably would have hit him there if it hadn't gone, maybe. All right, so that's red. So, and then this guy's red is he's shooting 6 this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, he had a good idea. He thought this person might be trying to move, just missed him. So now we go to the white die and do it again. 3. This one's shooting 3 this way. Wow, look at that. This originally was somewhere else, but it's still going to end up hitting him, which is pretty interesting. 1, 2, 3 hits this guy for 1. He is going to take a damage, essentially. And because he hit him with a 3, when we look at our chart, rotate dice on the weapons control 45 counterclockwise. So, boom, that's gonna rotate that way, and this guy's dice is done. This one's shooting 4 this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost thinking that this guy was going to be here maybe, but it didn't do anything. 5. This guy's shooting 5 this way. He just totally missed. And this guy, because it got moved, he shot 6 this way and did nothing. So now we have here the blues, and these 2 are tied. This one's on the movement control, so he'll go first. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, look at him. He's on the points. If he stays there at the end of the round, he'll get a point. I'll put him up on the pedestal, put him on the die. And he's moved. This person's 3. He's going to shoot this way because it's shooting to nothing because he kind of got screwed up by getting hit earlier. And these 2 are 6, and we'd add up the dice, and these ones are lower. So he would shoot 6 this way. Ooh, watch this. 1, 2, boom. It hits this guy. And the shorthand tells us that if you hit him with a 6, he gets moved in that direction by 1. So boom, he gets moved and he takes a damage. So this guy's got 2 damage now. He's almost dead in the first round. He thought he was going to get a point. No, he got pushed off. Excellent move by white there. And then this last one's 6 this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, if someone was still there, they would have gotten hit. Pretty interesting move. So that's how a round works, how things can happen that you plan for and things can happen that you don't plan for. Now looking at the back of the shield again, we roll dice, we resolve dice, we give out points if anybody's on it, and then we respawn. So if anybody was on here at the end, they would have gotten a point, which is this. The first one to 5 points wins. Now, if anybody had died at this point, so let's say this guy, let's just say he has 2 damage. Let's say this guy ended up hitting him, he had 3 damage. At that point, he automatically takes his guy off the board, removes all of his dice, and he's done for the round. Once the round's over, he will remove all of his damage, and he will respawn. Essentially, he gets to pick anywhere, any edge of where this is going to be. So maybe he comes over here, or that's not good, or maybe right there. Now, after this point has been gotten, let's say somebody did get on this point. As soon as he gets the points for that at the end of the round, he would re-roll this, and this would go somewhere else. So boom, and then the guy would respawn afterwards. So maybe he might want to move himself closer, maybe he moves himself right there, because respawning happens after the point and the roll. So that's what happens when you die, either by getting hit 3 times of damage, or if you're getting into the pit. If you fall into the pit for any reason, whether you just fall in on your own or whether you're pushed in, same thing happens. You move your damage, you're out of the round, and you respawn when you respawn. Now, if you hit somebody or if you move, let's say this guy was moving this way, you can move people into the pit and kill them. If you move somebody into a pit, either by moving them or shooting them into the pit, as we saw, you can move people with shooting if you use a 6, then you get a point for that too. So you're getting a point if you're on the control spot at the end of the round, or if you've pushed somebody into a pit, you're getting a point. The first one to 5 wins. This last spot here is if at any point you're on here, you can remove all of your damage that you currently have. That's pretty much how it's played, round after round. The first one that has 5 points is the winner. Now that was the basic game. There's an advanced game that comes with sort of this little mini expansion here. There's 16 different modules that can be selected, and they're all like this on the back. So what you could do is put them all like this, shuffle them up, and pull one, and this one's near the board, and that module is used by everybody for the entire game. That's essentially one of the ways to play advanced. You can also play a main event, which essentially is, you would do this for the first one with 5 points wins, and then you would do it again with another module, and whoever gets 2 modules, essentially whoever wins 2 massive games wins. There's also a way of doing drafting, where each of you would get 3 tiles, you'd look and select one, pass them to the left, and you do that over and over till you have drafted 3 tiles, and then nobody knows which 3 you have. And then you would essentially use 1 per game where only you are able to use that module. There's also a team-based play where you can play 2-on-2, and whoever has 10 victory points at the end wins. Let's look at just a couple of these modules. So here we have the grenade, which acts like you're shooting, but instead of just hitting everything in its way, it goes and hits on the spot on the board that you're going to be hitting, and then it hurts everything adjacent to it. So it's like a massive explosion, which is really cool. This one's a saw, and when you push robots and you move them, it does damage to them. This one's really cool, where if you're damaged, this one's called the explosive core. When you're damaged, it deals 2 damage to all objects that are around it, which is pretty cool. This one allows you to use all 3 for movement instead of just 2 dice. So there's all sorts of different cool things. Some of them come with some extra things that your pieces and components that you're going to put under these and stuff. Just a really cool way to make a good game even better.
All right, well, there's Volt Ballerina.
I gotta say, I'm typically not a fan as much of combat games, of things like that, but this was fun. The things we liked most about it, the programming element, the mechanic of the way things resolve, I think is the true main mechanic that really makes this game stand out. The red, white, and blue die, and then the lowest number. So when you're picking your dice, and you see where you are relative to other people, and you know what number die you have on the red, for example, you can probably, hey, if I have a 5 or 6, I'm probably not going to get my first move in. I'm not going to be the first one there. So if I try to shoot this guy, he's probably going to have moved by then. So it's really cool that it gives you a lot to think about as to which order the dice resolve, but then which order within the color and how they resolve by the thing. So that was really cool. And then, obviously when everyone lifts their shields up and you have a plan, sometimes that plan happens and you're like, yeah. Other times it goes haywire off the first bat. You're like, oh, and your dice are shifting. And sometimes you're just totally just swiped out for that round. But other times your dice can shift and some other unknown thing that you didn't realize was going to happen but is good for you happens, and that's cool too. So it's actually really fun to see the morphing of what people's plans were and then what actually happened. And we found ourselves laughing a lot, being like, I didn't know that was going to happen to you. So it was actually quite enjoyable. Once you get used to the mechanics and the flow, it seemed to move pretty fast. I like how you have 4 different boards, and then to add all those modules at the end of different ways to play for the advanced game, and the drafting idea of taking 3 different ones and only you get that ability, I think is my favorite way to play. It just seems really cool with a lot of replayability value with that. It's obviously best with 4. 3, it's okay. 2, I'd probably just control 2 robots each or something like that. I don't know. But 4, it really shines the best. And we were really, really impressed with this game. I don't typically like these types of games, but this one was a pleasant surprise and one that I really like. So if you like programming type of games, this is definitely what you're going to want to check out.
Volt Robot Ballerina.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.